Greetings. I keep looking at these little prospect generators, companies that like to use other people's money and expertise to look for natural resources. And so right now I'm very interested in Pura Vida. Pura Vida is a little company listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, symbol PVD. They're looking for oil. And so when I'm looking for updates, one of the places I like to go is the Australian Stock Exchange. And they've got some price history, some basic stuff like market cap, $66 million in Australian right now at 41.5 cents. They've got their announcements, and one of the recent things they put out is a new presentation, an updated presentation. And so just give you a refresher, an introduction to Pura Vida Energy. They've got these properties, one of which is offshore Morocco. They bid on this thing, and they were the winning bidder, which anybody can do with the right amount of money. But they were able to turn around and interest Freeport McMoRan in this property. Freeport's got a technical team that knows their stuff. They've been around the block. They get to look at all kinds of projects, and they've got a certain amount of money that they can speculate with on those projects. And so in this particular project, they decided to go for it. And Freeport negotiated with Pura Vida, and Pura Vida got paid back basically all their costs in getting this concession and working it and bringing it up to present. In 2013, the deal came through that Freeport would fund 2 wells, and Pura Vida would retain a 23% interest in those 2 wells. They got some other deals on some other projects. But basically this Moroccan project, the deal is that Freeport promised to drill 2 wells offshore Morocco. The first scheduled to spud in April 2015. That's right now. They talk about the technical data of these wells, and how great these wells are. This location. This first well they want to drill, they believe to be $136 million cost, where Pura Vida PVD is carried up to $215 million by Freeport, plus an option at Pura Vida's election for additional carry in excess of $215 million. Basically, if the cost goes over $215 million, Freeport keeps paying the bills, but Pura Vida doesn't keep full 23% anymore. It starts falling back down in percentage and eventually down to royalties kinds of positions. They say this is exceptional leverage to exploration success for PVD shareholders. Basically, Pura Vida shareholders don't have to pay, and we get to use Freeport's expertise, Freeport's conviction, Freeport's people, and especially Freeport's money to go test these wells. That first one comes through and they learn from it one way or another. They'll choose a follow-up location for a second well. And that'll be after this first well. This first well should be starting drilling right about now. That's why I'm pointing it out some more. Here's a location of this first well right offshore Marrakesh, and you're next door to Chevron and Cosmos and BP and Current Energy and some big offshore players, offshore African players. They really like to point out is multiple stacked prospects. It's not just one target that they're going after. They're looking at lots of different layers of information, and they're lining them up to see which one gives them the highest probability of making an economic find. So they drill through multiple zones that may be the one that hits. Then they get into talking about their next project offshore Gabon, where they hope to land a partner like they did offshore Morocco. This one's younger. They've got the project and they're looking for the partner. They don't have the partner willing and able to put up the money to test this thing yet. if the oil price hadn't fallen off a bunch recently, they might have come up with a partner. But right now, with the oil price off the way it is, it's amazing that um, they've got Freeport still going for it in the first place. They're pointing out all kinds of opportunities in their concession offshore Gabon, looking for a partner there as well. And they've got this project offshore Madagascar that they did a deal with Sterling Energy. Sterling Energy is listed on the London AIM market. I believe they're trading at a discount to cash right now. Just a little company that follows a lot of the same strategy as Pura Vida, where they get these highly prospective, big target kinds of plays for oil, and they look for partners to work them. And so in this instance, Sterling got Pura Vida to move the project forward by putting up a little bit of money to do the 3D seismic over this concession. And so Pura Vida probably got it for a song and a dance. A little bit of money, they get 50% of this project, which might be cheaper than going to buy a new project and more advanced by having 3D data in there. And then with that 3D data, they hope to take it to the super majors, the Freeports and Conocos of the world, and try to get them to put up the money to drill some wells in this thing. And so this is their test kitchen, or their earlier stage pipeline of projects. They're trying to come up with a new project like they have offshore Morocco. In case the one offshore Morocco doesn't work, they've got others that they're swinging for the fences on tomorrow or later on. Here's some more data of their offshore Madagascar opportunities. They're saying that the neighbors have drilled in this general region and got some oil shows, and they've got ExxonMobil planning to drill a well in this, I can't pronounce it, area over here sometime in late 2015, early 2016. Maybe if ExxonMobil hits oil over here and people get excited about that, it'd be a lot easier to sign up a partner over here, because they might be able to say it's the same kind of play, the same kind of reef system, the same kind of geology. But just the shot of ExxonMobil actually spudding a well and going for it says a lot about the politics of the area. This area has been diminished in value because of the politics of Madagascar. It's been very hard to work there and say that you really own something, and if you develop a natural resource, you'll be able to take it full circle into production and get the money out of the country. So now it's been settling back down and firming up, and more people are believing in the politics. And a move by ExxonMobil would say that they've done that. Here's some of the guys behind Pura Vida, and some other miscellaneous information on their projects. They get into more technical detail. You can tell these are very technical guys looking to go sell the super majors on their projects. Maybe not so speculator friendly, and looking for American speculators. Them being Australian, they're targeting more Australians. But this, as an American looking outside the box and looking around the world, this is some of the opportunities you can come up with. And showing more geology of the stuff that they're looking at and ideas that they're working to come up with their projects. Talking about the size potential of their targets, and just they've got these really big numbers. If you turn into dollars, you can really get your eyes to roll. But it's hopefully it works, and I'd like to see some nice big potential size projects like these guys are swinging at. Some more technical data, and offshore Gabon, as they're probably out on the road trying to sell that project to get somebody to sign up for it. This is the kind of data they put in front of them, or tasters or teasers to get them interested. So, as the Madagascar prospect as well. Some more Madagascar information. But bringing it full circle to more current, they just did an update. This is March 10th. They put out an update basically saying, this well offshore Morocco is coming up quick. The drill ship that they're using has been drilling a well in the neighborhood, and is now moved to briefly complete a well offshore Mauritania for another operator. I believe it's Cosmos is the operator if you research it. I might be wrong, but I believe it's Cosmos. Before returning to hand over the well to this joint venture program, basically to Freeport. These guys, they believe it's coming up, and they believe they can spud the well during April, which is right now. So we should hear an update out of these guys really soon about spudding this well or more delays. And they brag about their carried 23% interest, which I think is really good. And Freeport putting up the first $215 million. So another thing I like to watch is these companies' financials. Their last financial is December 31st. And they've actually got some cash, unlike many of these little guys. Sorry, just scrolling down. I think here's a balance sheet. $18 million cash at the end of the year. They talk about expenses for 2014. Foreign exchange gain helped them a bunch in there, but usually a couple, not a whole lot over $2 million. Let's call it $2.5 million for administrative and, to run the company. It's run like the guys that started the company and put their money in there are also running it. It's not run like they hired some management that's just milking the shareholders. I think it's run at lower expenses. And they did a financing since that financial was reported. So $18 million plus this money they just raised, about $4 million. And so if you take that, you're talking $22 million, let's say, less this year's operations, $20 million, or $19.5 million if they run the same operating costs this year as last year without factoring in the cost of the well. And they're also paying for some 3D seismic on their Madagascar stuff, but let's ignore that for now. Let's say they create more value out of that than they spend. And you compare that money to the market cap, $66 million. It's about a third, or just a hair less than a third of the market cap is backed by cash at today's prices. So it's not all hot air, but there's some hot air in there, speculative money going after this find. And I still expect that to get bigger, or more hot air, or more speculative push as this well actually spuds and starts drilling. Then people start to realize that there might be a big news release coming on the results of this well that could propel the share price higher, and take this company to the next level as a natural resource developer of sorts, instead of a seeker and a hunter and an explorer like they are now. So if you're interested in Pura Vida, I'd encourage you to go to Pura Vida's website and sign up for their news releases. Otherwise, I'll be following them too. Feel free to sign up to my YouTube channel and or my website, ProsperousAdventure.com as well. Thanks for listening and watching. Hope to have any questions that you may have in the comments section, or feel free to email me anytime too. Thank you.